and show you how to work with text in InDesign. So now you have your spread set up. The best way to go ahead and work in text and also to really create the best spread you can is to go over here where it says either Essentials, Essentials Classic, and go ahead and switch it to Advanced. This is going to give you the best way to work in InDesign. You don't have to be advanced to be working on this either. So in order to start creating text, let me go ahead and kind of minimize this bar a little bit here, is clicking on the T tool, which is the type tool. Once you click on that, you're going to click in a corner of your spread and drag your type box, and you'll see this little flashing arrow right here. This is going to allow you to start typing in here. So I'm going to go ahead and type some text into here. Big, fluffy, I was going to write cat, big, fluffy cat. Now, in order to highlight text to work with it, you just kind of highlight like this. And if you want to go ahead and change the font, you would do that up here. Now, Adobe gives you tons of different fonts to work with, and you can actually see what your text is going to look like on here. But we will show you how to actually download fonts. It's really easy, it's really simple, and I'll have another video to show you how to do that. For now, I just want to give you the idea that there are tons of different fonts out there. Now, a font in Arial Black, like this, let's put it at 40 points, is going to look different than a font, if we highlight this, and put this in Futura at 40 points. You can notice that these two fonts look very different from each other, right? This one has thick and full strokes, and this one has thin but very vertical, taller strokes to it. So these two fonts are different. There's so many different fonts out there. You go crazy with fonts. With creating the yearbook, it really takes us a lot of time to actually figure out what kind of fonts we want to use. So keep this in mind when you guys start setting up things like Style Guide and you're working with different fonts, because one font at 40 points is going to look very different than another font at 40 points. So headline fonts tend to be the biggest font on the page. That's a part of type hierarchy. We want our headline font to be the biggest thing that grabs our readers' attention. So anything that's 40 points or above tends to be a really great headline font. I'm actually going to make this even bigger. Why? I want these 3 words to fill up the 3 columns on this first page right here. This right here is going to be my headline. Now let's go ahead and create a subhead. Our subhead should be more words than our headline, and it should also be a smaller body copy point size as well. So let me go ahead and write some more words. All right, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this because this is a 12-point font and make this not as big as my headline font, but still pretty big. All right, so your subhead font could be 2 lines of text, it could be 3, it's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and leave it to 1 and keep it at 25 points. So again, with type hierarchy being, you know, we want things to be the biggest and then the next biggest and then the next and the next and the next. And we move down that way. So whatever is at the top needs to be the biggest, right? Your subhead should be the next biggest font on your spread to grab your reader's attention. Next, we're going to go ahead and put in some body copy right here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you guys this. Let's go ahead and find some filler text to put in here. So if we go to, I'm just going to go to this site. It's called catibsum.com. I'm going to get 5 paragraphs of this. This is called lorem ipsum text. This just happens to be a funny kind of lorem ipsum, and it's all about cats, which is fantastic. So I'm actually just going to copy and paste all of this text on here and do a little Command C and go back into InDesign, do a Command V. Oh, that didn't work. Let me try it again. No, I don't want you dictionary. Okay, this should be good enough for me. Okay, so here's what we don't want to do. With body copy text, we don't want to go over the entire page. We want to create columns. That is a part of working in magazines, is creating columns. So if you want to create columns, there's a couple different ways to do it. One, you could just make 3 separate text boxes. And let's make a second one right here. And I'm going to use this little plus red button to thread my text. So you'll notice this little red plus button means that there's extra text in this box. And you could easily just click on this and then hover in this box and click into it. And you're going to want to do this, especially when you guys have your feature story. This is going to help you to move your text into different boxes when you start creating multiple spreads. So I'll click on my little red plus button, and it's going to thread text. So now you can see my text is threaded from here to here, and from down here to up here, okay? I'll show you in a second why this is really important. I will say there is another way to actually create columns. If I want to click on my little text box like this, I'm going to drag it over 3 columns. I'm going to do a Command V. You see all of my text is in here like this. If you go into Object, Text Frame Options, and then right under here it will be Columns. Let's make 3 columns because that's what we typically see in magazines. And we click OK. It's automatically going to create, you can see, 3 columns of text. And it has the perfect gutter space. We talked about this in class. Gutter space is supposed to be 1 pica. 1 pica is 0.1667 of an inch, okay? And if you actually go into text frame options, you'll see the gutter space in there is 0.167 of an inch, okay? So that is another way to create text boxes. All right, so that is how you create text in here. We'll be working more with typography and learning more about different types and how we can make contrast. But keep in mind, we want fonts that are thick contrasted with fonts that are thin. We also want our body copy to be anywhere between the point sizes of 10 and 12, and we don't want it any bigger than that, or else it's like a grandma reading a magazine. We don't need our text to be super big, okay? Remember, our headline and our subhead are also a little bit bigger. Our headline's going to be the biggest, okay?